Dawn is about to break here on the Ganges River. I'm in Varanasi. We're going to work our way through India, through the north of India, up to the Himalayas, and I think it's going to be pretty special. India lies at the southern central heart of the Asian continent. It has the second largest population in the world, is the birthplace of Hinduism and Buddhism, and home to over 700 languages and dialects. The cow is a sacred animal. My journey starts in the holy city of Varanasi, moves to India's capital, New Delhi, then cuts northward through the Himalayan foothills, crossing the Great Himalayas into the remote region of Ladakh and its capital Leh. The Ganges River at Varanasi has been a centre for art and learning for over 2,000 years and is a major pilgrimage site for India's 670 million Hindus. They come to Varanasi to bathe in its sacred waters, to pray and to honour the divinities. The flight of stairs leading down to the river are called ghats, and there are over 100 of them in Varanasi. The bodies are brought to Manikanika, the burning ghat, where they are cremated and have their ashes poured into the river. In India, most educated people speak good English and are keen to explain their culture and their customs.
This city is actually the city of Lord Shiva, the god of death. And it is believed that anyone who dies in Varanasi, you get the salvation. So many old people, they come to Banaras to spend their last years of their life, and they die here.
There's a guy over there who's chanting and smoking. What is he smoking?
Well, the sadhu is smoking actually hashish, which is known as ganja.
Is the hashish a religious?
Well, it's accepted in some sects, like people who worship Shiva and Shakti. So it's a part of their tradition.
And does it help give them enlightenment?
Well, temporarily, yes.
Death may hover over Varanasi, but there is no shortage of life either, with some amazing variations. It's sort of a perverse thing, but I've always sort of wondered what Indians have under their turbans, and I got the word that you were the man that had this one in Varanasi. Can we see your hair? Yeah. Please? Wow. Wow.
Yeah, very big.
Very big.
Wow.
Very big.
Yeah, right, Sadhu. Yeah, right, Sadhu.
The Ganges may make Varanasi a special place and a traveller's favourite, but away from the riverfront, the maze of back streets is fairly typical of what you will find in most Indian cities. A local boy offered to be my guide.
Yes, come.
What's your name?
Ajay.
Ajay, I'm Andrew.
Nice to meet you.
Me too.
Here, this way many places.
What's this?
This is beetle.
Detail.
Yes.
Okay, what do you do?
We are making beetle nut, sweet, many things you can mix and you can eat.
Pan vendors mix up their own special blend of ingredients, which usually includes the mild stimulant betel nut, lime paste and secret spices. Wrapped in a leaf, they are chewed as a digestive or pick-me-up, The same effect as an espresso coffee in theory, but sure to keep your dentist busy because of its teeth-rotting properties. Just a little?
Yes, you can try.
Okay.
When you eat, you feel very good. When you think, feel very good.
Sorry. Well, what? It makes you feel good?
Yes, and teeth going red.
It
Teeth
makes your teeth go red.
red.
Processions carrying the silk-wrapped bodies of the recently deceased pass by on the way to the burning ghat. Cremations are performed at any time, day or night. Indian alleys have a myriad of street bars selling everything from cigarettes and betel nut to lavatory paper. Adju took me to sample his favourite beverage, lassi.
You try.
Lassi is a popular drink made from yogurt, milk and cream. Sugar and fruit are also often added. Lassis are well known to settle a raging stomach, but the ones made on the street will probably have the opposite effect because they contain the local water. And what's that?
This is,
You try? It's good? The British ruled India for 200 years and created an extensive railway system, and trains are still the best way to travel when tackling long distances. Platform 3? Where's platform 3, please? Railway stations are usually huge and chaotic places, so allow plenty of time to catch a train. I have no idea how I'll find my compartment. Hello! I'm on a 14-hour trip across the northern plains to visit Agra, home of the Taj Mahal. No one in my compartment spoke English. It's the perfect opportunity to cross cultural boundaries with my amazing juggling talent. Time for bed, but the kitchen staff are already thinking about breakfast. Yeah, well, bed linen would have been nice, but let's be honest. I've got the full-blown air conditioning. Good night. Rickshaw? This first. I want to go to the Taj Mahal.
Yes, I will take you Taj Mahal.
How much?
For 40 rupees.
Okay, just there.
I will drop you only. 40 rupees.
Okay. Air conditioning?
Yeah.
Air conditioning?
Air condition. This is not air condition. Air cool.
Good.
Natural air cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Motorised rickshaws are a common and cheap way to get around towns in India. The driver usually doubles as a tour operator, and it is a bonus when you can understand him.
I tell you what about Taj Mahal.
Okay, tell me about the Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal built Shah Jahan. He was king of India. Shah Jahan, king wife, she told king, I want to very beautiful souvenir, memorial for me. And Shah Jahan, king, he built Taj Mahal for a wife. Because Shah Jahan love for wife.
Is this safe?
Yeah, you're safe. No problem.
The Taj Mahal has been described as the most extravagant monument ever built for love. The Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan was heartbroken when Mumtaz, his wife, died in childbirth with his 15th child. Her tomb lies in the basement of the structure. Construction of the Taj began in 1631 and took 22 years to complete. 20,000 people worked on the building, and many of the walls are adorned with complex patterns of semi-precious stones.
My eyes, they follow you. My heart tells me
The Muslim Mughals ruled India for nearly 200 years. Art, literature and architecture flourished, and the magnificence of their court stunned early European visitors.
my heart tells me.
Thanks. I'm here in Mathura, which is on the way to Delhi. A very special day here because this is Krishna's birthday, and this was actually the birthplace of Krishna. So there's going to be massive celebrations. The thing to do is to find out where they are and exactly why and what's going on. Celebration up this way? Every year, thousands of followers of the Hindu god Krishna come to Mathura to celebrate his birth nearly 3,500 years ago. This way for Krishna?
Yes, yes.
What are you making?
Chai.
Chai.
Tea.
Oh, tea.
Yes.
Good. Very sweet. Krishna was the early incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu. Born in humble surroundings, he is very popular with the poorer classes. There is no single temple. The crowds visit several of the thousands of small temples spread throughout the city. What is this? This is Krishna? Thank you. At night, the streets come alive with music, free food and face painting, which is seen as a symbolic blessing. The party really gets going at midnight, the alleged hour of Lord Krishna's birth, with processions of floats depicting Krishna in his many forms, the warrior charioteer, the charismatic ladies' man, and the baby Krishna who, much like Moses, was saved from slaughter by his parents who set him adrift on the Yamuna River in a tiny raft. Continuing down the road, I managed to find out just what goes on in the temples. All of this seemed pretty alien to me, so fortunately I met Anu from Delhi in one of the temples. She was able to explain a few basics. There's a lot of chanting, a lot of yelling going on, and a fire, okay, and they're all like worshipping the fire. So what is the fire's significance?
Basically, fire is the go-between between God and people. That's what took the messages up to God, and that's how God communicated back to the people. So when they're touching the fire, they're almost taking the blessings directly from God.
There are so many people here. Was Krishna an incredibly popular god, or?
Krishna gave us the Bhagavad Gita, which is what the Quran is to Islam, what Bible is to Christianity. But Bhagavad Gita is the basic, the core thing of Hinduism. But the basic thing that I get out of it is something that all over the West they call karma. Karma is that you do. You just carry on doing. What you do today will determine what you do tomorrow. And what you're doing, what you did yesterday, has determined what is happening to you today.
Before leaving Mathura, I decided to do my karma some good in the traditional way, and I sent a prayer candle into the river in honour of the baby Krishna. The train ride from Mathura to the Indian capital of Delhi is a relatively easy 3 hours. Delhi is the country's third largest city. It is divided into Old Delhi, the capital of Muslim India between 12 and 1900 AD, and New Delhi, the modern-day capital established during British rule in the 19th century. With a suspicious rumble in my stomach, I headed for an area called the Pahar Ganj. It's within easy walking distance of the station. The Pahar Ganj is a densely populated quarter wedged between the old and new city. It's famous for hustle and bustle, numerous travellers' haunts, and heaps of cheap hotels. Hi.
Yes, welcome, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
I'd like a room, please.
I have room, sir.
Yes, double room
Double room with bath, 160 rupees.
with bath.
With bath. Without bath, 140 rupees.
Does it include a toilet?
Yeah, toilet also.
Okay, so 160.
160.
Okay, can I have a look at the room?
Yeah, why not? You go with this.
All right. Okay.
You see, sir.
Thank you. I hope it's good. Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah, looks good. That's better. Now, where's the bathroom, please?
Bathroom is.
Okay, I'll take it. Very good. Thanks, mate. Do you mind? This is not whinging, I promise, but since I left home, I've had my wallet taken in dubious circumstances, my camera is on the blink in dubious circumstances, and now, to make my karma even worse, I made jokes about getting diarrhea once I got here, and sure enough, I'm in Delhi and now have Delhi belly. So maybe I did something wrong on the way here, I'm not sure, but we just got to hang tight and wait till it goes away. So, good night. 3 days later, I was as good as new. Well, almost. So I felt a little spend therapy was in order. Hello. I need a material for a shirt.
10. 10. 3 meters.
3 meters. Right.
Yes, 20.
Excuse me, you're a tailor?
Yes.
I've got some material. Can you make me a shirt? You make a big shirt?
Yes.
And it'll take how long?
3 hours.
3 hours for one shirt or 2 shirts?
2 shirts.
2 shirts.
Yes. Ready.
They're done?
Ready.
Well, there you go. It feels all right. It seems to fit. It's big, which is what I like, and under $4. The Paharganj is teeming with cheap, open-air restaurants frequented by travellers. With my courage restored, I decided to dive in. You guys have been here longer than me, obviously, you know, good beard and everything. What do you think we should eat?
Well, you know, if you want to eat Indian, I'd just go for the basic stuff right now. I'd probably get an order of fried dal, that's lentils, cooked and then fried in butter.
Okay.
And then I'd probably go for aloo gobi, that's potatoes and vegetables.
See, I've just been sick. Is this safe food? Like, how do you know what's safe and what's not?
Well, first thing you gotta remember is I try not to eat just off the street because there's really no hygienic laws. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right.
You don't know where they're, you know, they use the leftovers.
What about eating meat dishes?
I would stay away from them just because, I mean, if you've ever gone to the butcher, I mean, you can see that hygiene isn't their biggest priority.
Yeah, it's foul.
Flies all over.
Fly blind.
Oh, yeah.
This humidity is just a breeding ground for bacteria.
Tell me about it.
So,
Yeah.
the hot food.
Always try and get it
Plus,
fresh cooked.
It's good to eat the Indian food because the spices are natural preservatives.
What about the water? I know most Westerners drink bottled water. Is that another?
Yeah.
It's best to stick with bottled water. One thing to check with the bottled water, always look at the caps, because sometimes you'll get kids who come along, pick up the dirty bottles out of the gutter, wash them out, fill them up with tap water, and put the top back on.
There you go.
All right. He looks like a Neil Kapoor, eh? Yeah.
Rip and dip and...
With your right
Dip and sip.
It's good. It's all right. Does it make me regular? One of the more interesting ways to explore India is by motorbike. The classic Enfield, no longer manufactured in the West, is still made here. They're easy to buy, or in my case, rent. Okay, Lally, I'm riding to Rishikesh. What are my options for hiring?
You can have scooters, you can have 100cc motorcycles, 250cc also is possible.
Okay.
Whatever you like, whatever you find easy to do.
What do you think is best?
I think if you're traveling, 350 Enfield would be the best for me.
This one?
Yeah, with luggage and everything.
Yeah. What do I need to know about the Enfield?
Enfield actually is completely opposite to the Japanese bikes. Once you get used to, this is for the long distance the most ideal bike.
And this is a good one?
This is a very good motorcycle.
The brakes work?
Oh, everything works. I can take you for a test
I'll
drive.
take it.
Yeah.
Be warned, you have to be very careful riding in India. Roads are bad and crammed with traffic and animals doing their own thing. My destination is the Corbett National Park, 300 square miles of parkland in the foothills of the Himalayas. Just grab the ears, and he pulls you up.
Ears for holding and the
Yeah.
trunk for taking support.
Uh-huh.
So it.
And you just crawl up.
It helps you in.
Easy.
Yes, 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 yes. You remain there. Don't move it. She'll lift you.
Yes! Okay. Very simple. Established in 1936, Corbett was India's first national park. It's named after the famous British hunter Jim Corbett, who was greatly revered by the local people for shooting man-eating tigers. About 20 people are still killed by tigers every year. The main aim of the park is to preserve the huge variety of wildlife that resides here, including wild elephants, jackal, leopard, and over 1,000 species of bird. Nasha is one of a team of female elephants you can ride for a fee. How old is this bloke?
Oh, she's about 50 years.
Oh, she's a she. How many working for you?
We have 13 elephants. Each one of them has to put in 6 hours duty every day.
From Corbett that a major effort to save the tiger was launched in 1973. It was called Project Tiger. The total tiger population in India has doubled to about 4,000, 135 of which live here. But seeing a tiger in Corbett, well, that's another story. Honestly, are we going to see one today?
Well, you have to be lucky because a tiger does not like to get photographed and come out openly and see human face. It has been hunted for centuries, so it has gone into its genes to avoid human beings.
But that's pretty much a no, isn't it?
Yeah.
From Corbett, the road to Rishikesh winds through the beautiful Himalayan foothills. The journey from Corbett takes about 5 hours. Like Varanasi, Rishikesh is one of India's holy cities and has been home to many Hindu saints, sages and gurus. The town is situated on the sacred Ganges, closer to the river's Himalayan source than Varanasi, so the ghats here are a lot cleaner to bathe in. Hindus have been making pilgrimages here for centuries, but it was in the late 1960s that Rishikesh attracted worldwide attention when the Beatles and numerous other Western celebrities came here to study meditation and Hindu philosophy with their guru, the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Where is a good ashram for me to stay in Rishikesh?
I'll show you.
still the hippie haven. Not much has changed here since the 60s, or since the 1st century BC for that matter. Travellers visiting Rishikesh usually stay in one of the meditation centres called ashrams. Alright, well this is an ashram. I can't tell you if it's a good one or a bad one because I've never been to one before, but looks alright. Bed's hard. Very hard. Yeah. Be alright for a night. Each ashram centres around the teachings of a head yogi or guru, someone who has acquired a special enlightened understanding of the world. Apart from the spiritual challenge, ashrams can provide cheap, clean accommodation and good food for the traveller, and anyone is welcome to stay provided you stick to the rules. If you're thinking about staying in an ashram, there's a couple of things you want to keep in mind. There are definite rules to staying here. First of all, pretty importantly, if you're travelling with your girlfriend or boyfriend or something, no touching, no feeling, no looking, no groping, no affection at all, okay? No nudity in the ashram. But the one I like the best, because I'm a fun guy, is number 9. No playing cards, no playing chess, no unsocial activities, political discussions, and no jokes. The spiritual head of the Sri Ved Nikitan Dham ashram is Yogi Shik Shalaya. I think the first thing I have to learn in an ashram is how to sit correctly, isn't it?
Yes, please.
So the simple one is just with one
leg on one thigh.
One on the thigh.
Yes. Other leg pressing the center of your body. Other leg pressing the center of your body, yes. Not like that, not like that. Not like that. One leg center here.
So,
other leg on top of this first heel.
Okay.
On
right.
top of the first heel.
I've got a feeling that our legs aren't the same. Why do people come to an ashram?
ये पूछ रहे हैं आश्रम में लोग क्यों आ रहे हैं? क्यों आते हैं? आश्रम में आने का क्या मकसद है?
आश्रम सेवा करने, सहयोग देने, संयम करने, साधना करने.
Generally they come for peace and a new way of life, a different way of life. Basically for sadhana, spiritual sadhana a person comes.
Spiritual sadhana?
Sadhana. Sadhana means certain disciplines that people impose in their life for their spiritual progress.
Okay. If I were to stay here for more than the day that than one night that I'm staying here for 2 weeks or 2 months, how would I be different when I left?
यहाँ से जो साधना बताई जाती है, उस साधना को करने से उसको पीस ऑफ माइंड और अंदर की प्रसन्नता, हैप्पी.
So I'd just be sort of spiritually fixed.
Fold the right leg, bring it next to your body. Fold the left leg, bring it on top of your right heel. If you can, raise the hands, get into Namaskar Mudra.
Yoga is one of several disciplines designed to help you achieve inner peace through body control and relaxation.
Feel the twisting effect in the spine. Put your hands down towards the shoulder. Towards the shoulder. Yes. Yes, very nice.
It's very difficult, but it's fun. It's a big challenge, and it's a big thing for me to admit, because I've always begged, but I can do it. The train journey to the old British Hill station at Simla winds for 6 hours through mysterious hillsides and more than 100 tunnels. This narrow gauge railway was built in 1904 to provide easy access for British government officials, their families and the mountains of paraphernalia needed to run a country. During the British rule, the capital would be moved from the sweltering heat of Delhi to the cool mountains of Simla. The homesick British designed Simla like an English village. At the height of the British Raj, the high-flown social life here was legendary. Dances, bridge, parties, parades, and with many husbands being absent, romance, intrigue and gossip were always in the air. In its heyday, Simla represented the most sophisticated seat of British high society in India. Today, Simla is a holiday resort for Indians looking to escape the heat. The main thoroughfare is called the Mall. It is distinguished by the neo-Gothic Christ Church built in 1857. The mall was closed to all Indians until 1947, when the nation finally gained independence from Britain. A lot may have changed here since the days of the Raj, but an air of gossip and romance still lingers. You guys live in Shimla, okay? You know all about the British Raj and the history of the British here. Do you like the British or dislike the British? Or?
They have done some good work, but normally we Indians dislike British.
Really?
They have done so many discriminatories and cruelties to Indians. That's why we dislike, not hate, but dislike.
What type of discriminatory things do you mean?
This is Mall, where we are sitting. And in British rule, there was a board here, right here.
There was a board?
A board, you know, in which there was written that Indians and dogs are not allowed now allowed at Mall.
Really?
Really.
So
this is a fact.
What about the monkeys? Were the monkeys allowed?
This is a fact.
I've noticed in all our travels in India that Indian boys are very affectionate. See you all hold on to each other. But I've never seen, I don't think once, an Indian boy and an Indian girl walking together holding hands.
That's
Why?
the fact of Indian society. After marrying, the society gives us permission.
Oh, so you're not allowed to. So just to make up for it, you practiced on your friends.
I can't answer about this.
Okay. We're very happy. Australia got a wicket. Sweeper. Woohoo! I'm going to be lynched. North of Simla lies the Kulu Valley and the mountain village of Manali. This is an area famous for its wool, apple orchards and a particular weed. Okay, here's a bit of local culture on the local flora. This is a marijuana plant, grows wild everywhere here. And this bloke is doing a bit of rubbing. He's actually rubbing off the resin off the plant. Can we see your hands? Your hands? Yeah. And the resin comes off in his hands. And this is called what? Charas. And then you scrape this off your hands, yes? And then you smoke it. It's good to smoke? Although the use of cannabis is officially illegal in India, it is tolerated in some areas as a traditional practice. The village of Old Manali sits at the gateway to the Great Himalayan Range. The Manali area has become home to an odd collection of people. Local villagers mixed with long-standing hippie residents, Tibetan refugees and trekkers preparing for the big hike. Although the newer part of Manali is full of modern hotels and tourist shops, in the local village of Vashist, things don't seem to have changed for centuries. Hidden deep within the pine forest near Old Manali lies the most important temple in the area. Built in the 16th century, the Hidimba Deva temple is dedicated to the goddess Hidimba Deva, considered to be the mother goddess of the whole valley. The goddess is regularly consulted in times of natural hardship or calamity. Animal sacrifices are still made here in her honour, but the temple is best known for its intricate wood carvings that cover the pillars, doorposts and the lintels. Before entering, it is customary to announce your arrival to the goddess by ringing the bells. Chris and Bob are two tour operators based in Manali. G'day.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
How's it going?
All right. They're on their way to the town of Leh, high up in the Himalayas, where they'll pick up a trekking team from Germany. The road to Leh covers nearly 300 miles and takes you through some of the highest mountain passes in the world. The plan is to get to Leh in 3 days, which is not a lot of time to get used to the altitude.
I've heard about altitude sickness. Will I be right? I mean, what?
It affects all people differently.
So given the worst case scenario...
Headache.
Right.
Breathlessness and sleeplessness.
Do I get testy or, you know? Come on,
you do get short-tempered and people just act, snap a little bit or they act a bit, just a bit short with you.
The first pass, Rotang, at almost 16,000 feet, is only passable during the summer months and is blocked by snow and ice for the rest of the year. Breakfast the next morning was just a bit unusual.
Oh, what's this?
This is momos.
Momos?
This is a sort of Tibetan speciality. It's mutton wrapped in a pastry and then fried. Spicy mutton.
They're good for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Sort of like...
Very tasty.
Sort of like a dim sim kind of thing?
A bit like that, yeah.
But only we know what's in this one.
Yeah, in that one we do.
For sure? Oh, it's good.
From here, the border with Tibet is only 90 miles away. Tibetans started to flood into this region when China invaded in 1957. Refugees have continued to trickle across the border ever since. The Manali to Leh road has only been open to foreigners since 1989 because of border tensions.
Can I have your passports?
Passport?
Yes.
What's this for? There's not like trouble, military trouble or anything?
No, this is just the last check post between here and Leh, so it's just keep an eye on you where you were at the last point.
So you guys haven't lost anyone before?
No.
But you do hear about people going missing,
We won't get lost, will we?
No.
Chris?
No.
We won't get lost, will we?
No one actually lives on this stretch of road. The only sign of life were the strings of Buddhist prayer flags left by wandering Tibetan refugees. The wind is meant to blow the prayers up to heaven.
Chris and Bob have brought me to a place called Sarchuta Camp. It's about 14,000 feet above sea level. It's freezing, and I've bought the wrong sleeping bag. I need a 4-season, not a 2-season, which is what I have. They've warned me about altitude sickness. So far, I just feel sort of groggy, very sort of shallow breathing, but no headaches or anything. They've warned me about not being able to sleep, so I guess the best thing I can do is rug up and try and sleep. So fully clothed is the way it's going to be tonight. Very sensual. Good evening.
In the 19th century, the British built roads through this part of India in an attempt to divert the silk trade away from Kashmir. Like the roads, the plan failed. Roads here are still a problem. Workers from the impoverished Bihar region in the east of India spend 3 months at a time here before returning home with their pockets full with wages. Entering the region of Ladakh, the road descends into the Pang Gorge, where the rock formations are really incredible. The road levels out at 15,000 feet onto the Moray Plain, which is inhabited by nomadic herdsmen and their yaks. From there, it's a long ascent to the highest pass on our journey. This is the second highest pass in the world. It's called the Taglengla Pass. 17,500 feet, the closest I've ever been to God, and I feel absolutely terrible. I've got altitude sickness, and the head's going to blow off. But this makes it all worthwhile. The road from Taglengla slowly descends into the green and populated Indus Valley. This valley has been a centre of civilization since the 3rd century BC. Hinduism is believed to have originated here, and it is one of the earliest strongholds of Buddhism. The hills are dotted with ancient monasteries called gompas, where Buddhist lamas or monks reside. We stopped at Tiksi Gompa. At the entrance to all gompas is a row of prayer wheels. Spinning them brings not only good fortune, but is believed to send a prayer around the world. Ladakh is often called Little Tibet. The monks here practice the Tibetan form of Buddhism steeped in indecipherable mysticism. But the basic tenets of Buddhism are still the same, emphasising the renunciation of earthly desires as a way to release the spirit from the cycle of life and achieve union with the universe. 17th century frescoes cover most of the interior walls. They depict the myriad of divinities represented in Buddhism. Thank you. Wow. But most impressive is the 50-foot-high statue of Buddha, donated by the Dalai Lama of Tibet in 1980. This is Buddha?
Yes. This Buddha is Mithriya.
Is
Mithriya this one.
Mithriya Buddha?
Buddha this one. Featured Buddha this one.
Featured Buddha?
Yeah, after this one coming Buddha.
And this is where the lamas and you all come to pray?
Yeah.
Wow. How big?
I think it's 4.
4 stories?
Yeah.
Just outside the Tiksi Gompa is an amazing collection of mud and clay structures called chorten. It's a kind of cemetery where the cremated ashes of lamas are buried. "10 miles from Tiksi is Leh, the capital of Ladakh and the point where my journey ends. Once at the crossroads of the major trade routes of Central Asia, Leh reflects the strange mixture of its neighbouring cultures. Kashmir and Pakistan to the west, China and Tibet to the north and the east, and the heartland of India to the south. Open to visitors only since 1974, Leh is still a trading post, only nowadays mainly for tourists. There are fine selections of carpets from Kashmir, Tibetan artefacts and traditional Ladakhi jewellery, which incorporates skillful metalwork and the variety of semi-precious stones found in the neighbouring regions. The hills surrounding Leh offer some spectacular views. Defying the altitude, I decided to climb one and say my goodbyes to India.
Alright, you go.
This is Leh, it's India, and it's not really India at all. If you're coming to India, give yourself some time to get ill, time to recuperate, and time to see things. It's a phenomenal place. I've loved some of it, I've hated some of it. But as a wise man said before I left home, in about 6 months, you'll probably enjoy it. And I reckon in 6 months, I think I will.
Thank you.